Hello, I'm Regina McCann-Hess, President of Forge Wealth Management, and welcome to our Women in Wealth series. Today, I have a new friend with me. And Laurie, can you tell us who you are, what you do, and what you love about what you do?
Sure, Regina. Thank you for having me. I'm Laurie Ryan. I'm the president of the Exton Chamber of Commerce, and I'm gifted with having the position of running a chamber that has been around for almost 50 years. I'm heading into my sixth year as being the president, but really the president means I'm the chief bottle washer, herder of cats, and everything in between. But I love what I do. When I was asked to take on this position in 2016 in January, I realized it was my lifelong dream job. I am able to really support and help not only the businesses and nonprofits in Central Chester County, but really the whole region. And that's really what I've always been meant to do, which is making those, we call them connections in the Exton Region Chamber of Commerce. But making those connections, if I don't have the answer or I can't make the connection, I usually can find somebody that does have the answer or can have that need. So it's been really quite a journey, quite a joy, and we're still standing, moving into 2021 after a really crazy year for a lot of companies and organizations. So I feel very, very blessed.
And that's a very strong statement to make, that you're still standing after a very difficult year, especially for small business type companies. It's really a struggle to survive. So I'm really glad you guys are surviving well throughout the pandemic.
Well, luckily for me, I'm surrounded by a fantastic board of directors who, are not only supportive, but are able to guide financially with programming, with support, because it is really just me as the paid employee. So we do really value and survive because of our volunteers. The one thing I'm really proud of over the past year, we're always known for our great volunteer base, but when people are having to educate their own children at home, are working from home, trying to navigate their own jobs or businesses, and still able to come virtually and support the Exton Chamber and the businesses in the community by participating in the different councils and committees. It's very humbling, and I couldn't do anything without the support of these companies and individuals.
And you know what, that is a testament to the community because it is really hard to be successful in many things without the help of the community, especially your organization. And for like you said, for these people who are running businesses or, in their careers, and mostly for you, it's people running businesses. But then, like you said, they're also homeschooling their kids right now because, they're virtual. So we all know what that means, right? Some days are better than others, but it's a big time commitment for parents with kids in the school age, time zone, especially if they're littles. The littles, my goodness, my hats are off to those parents.
I hear you.
Imagine what they're going through. But at the same time, they're still able to, say, this is so important that I'm still going to keep my commitment to the chamber and be on these committees to make sure this keeps going forward. So kudos to you and your community. That's awesome.
It really is. And, it's not always easy. I think a lot of people in the position I hold are the fixers, they know, but the uncertainty was definitely an issue. The Exton Chamber, people don't always know what a chamber is. We're really a group of individuals who buy into a membership to facilitate whatever that mission is. And ours is to, enhance the economic success of the Exton region. So it's the whole part of central Chester County. But when you can't know, like our focus, even though our mission is also advocacy and education and marketing and community involvement, our biggest part of our mission is that networking piece. And we always hold the most fun and exciting events, some for fundraisers, just some for making those connections, and not being able to do that effectively the way we did it, or to try to really engage or educate people on how to do it. I mean, a lot of people are on Zoom all day. So the last thing they want to do is come to a fundraiser at 5 or 6, or networking. So, we've tried a lot of different things, and some things stick and some things don't. We're excited for 2021, which is going to be more hybrid, because we know people are in different stages of, there are some companies that will not allow people to go to live events until they're working in their office. So we have the whole gamut that we have to appeal to. And there's a lot of uncertainty. So it's been quite, I've been learning a lot about, that's what I've been doing the whole, the past 5 years of just learning how to navigate and see what we need to do.
Great. And so you guys had to do major pivoting throughout the quarantine and the pandemic, and virtual events, and not, like you said, next year doing some hybrid events. So what are some of the other ways that you've had to pivot?
Mostly it was because the way chambers, most chambers at least, function is half of our revenue is from membership, half from events. So there's some really great supporting companies of the chamber who, invested money in January for the year for events that we weren't going to have.
Yeah.
So we really had to make it the most valuable we could for the Miller's Insurance and the USI Affinity, My Benefit Advisor, and First Resource Bank, plus anybody else who had committed to a golf outing or something along that line, to make sure, because they wanted to still support the community and the chamber because that's what they value. But it was really important for me personally to make sure that they got some value for that investment.
Absolutely.
And the other thing,
it's a partnership.
Yeah, it is. And a lot of, we also continued our group. It's a Exton networking group. If you can see behind me, I'm in the Exton Square Mall. We have the old Chico's store, which is huge. And it was an awesome place to hold events live. And we had 100 people here for our ribbon cutting. So it's a great place for a live event. And that's where we would have twice a month our Exton networking, where that was a benefit of membership, that you could come and connect on a different level than just like a business card exchange. You'll find that a lot of our members are not the people that just go up to you and hand you their business card and ask for one back. It's really about trying to find that connection. So we had to pivot for that and make that a Zoom event. When people were getting tired of Zoom, one of our members offered their location. They had a nice outdoor spot so we could sit and meet outdoors, with masks, of course, and that worked until it got colder. So, every time it says we have something called lunch bunch. So when the restaurants opened, we just said, okay, let's meet for lunch at Ron's, Schoolhouse Grill, or whatever they call it, Original Grill, and have lunch, and everybody just pays on their own, but we get together. So it was a way to at least have some similar, semblance of normalcy during this time. It just, have learning to do like my assistant's job and still trying to do my job, was very interesting. But again, it's all for the, greater good of continuing and, keeping our members connected. We have a huge nonprofit council, which they were able to get together, especially their executive directors, virtually, to really just connect and just go over some struggles they're having.
Yeah.
Nonprofits are hit pretty hard right now. So, and we partner with the Community Foundation, Chester County Community Foundation, for some of their Food for Thought series to also help with nonprofits. Because a lot of our members are on boards of nonprofits too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's it's a whole connectivity. It's not just, oh, I joined the chamber so I can get business. There's a lot more than just the business. So kind of
Absolutely.
cool.
Absolutely. That's great. That's great. Obviously, it's a great organization to belong to be a member of, and to work for.
Yeah. I'm still here though.
I still a job. Woo-hoo! Yeah, and everyone's looking forward to the hybrid, because you're right, there's a lot of Zoom fatigue and everybody's like, all right, I want to be out of my house. I want to be out of my office building. So I think a lot of people look forward to.
Yeah. But I mean, a lot of people really are not willing to do that right now, to get out of their office.
Yeah.
And that's for their home. So, that's where I feel very responsible to make sure that we offer both.
Yeah.
We do have a series starting next week. We partner, I'm all about partnerships, and I'm hoping that there's even more of them for the upcoming year. We're partnering with a women's organization called Women's Business Connection of Chester County, and putting on a leader cast program, which generally we have live in October, but because of the pandemic, we couldn't do that. So it's going to be a 6-month series, because again, no one also wants to watch 6 speakers in a row by Zoom. So this will be new.
Yeah.
It starts Monday or Tuesday, and you watch the video yourself, and then we meet together, discuss, and kind of just network and have fun. So it's mostly women, but men are invited too. And I'm hoping that there's other opportunities for collaboration in 2021. A lot of the chambers in Chester County, there's actually 9 of us. So that's why when I say our sweet spot is the networking, everybody has something different and are different in different regions. So we've partnered a lot this year, just trying to support each other as well. So hopefully there'll be other opportunities in 2021 for that.
That's great.
We also support the Chester County government. We have restoredchestercounty.org, which is trying to help a lot of the businesses and industries to get back on their feet. I mean, some people are doing very well, some people not so much.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's concerning for sure, to say the least.
mm-hmm.
So I know we've been through a very traumatizing year, so to speak, but let's step outside of that for a second, because you have worked in careers for quite a while, and I know as a woman professional, there's different challenges that we face.
Yes.
And what are some of the challenges that you've faced as a professional woman?
Well, I'm a woman of a certain age, so and I, I've discussed this with people in the past before. There have been a lot of challenges in my career. My background is food marketing. I worked for the Kellogg sales company for 10 years. And that was a time where when I started, women were just starting really to get into that industry. We did a lot of the shopping, but not so much going in and putting the product on the shelves. So there was a lot of that. And then, having children, there was, at the time, pushback, to be a working mother, and, how can you do that and still do your job effectively? So I had experienced that in my career, and I was so gratified to see some women after me pushing back and making a lot of changes. So, that was good. So, I think being taken seriously, especially as a mother, and again, this was 100 years ago. It seems like
it, but it really wasn't that far away, right? I mean, it feels like it's a lifetime.
exactly. And then, you know, when I did make the decision, my husband and I at the time did make the decision for me to stay home to raise the children for it was 12 years, you know, having the challenge of not being taken seriously because you've chosen, you know, another career path or pausing your career. So that was very interesting to just go through. I mean, when I left the full-time business world, I was making more than my husband. You know, I was financially really on top of the world, you know, and then going to be more of the soccer mom, even working the part-time jobs, you kind of lose some of who you are in a way, or what you think people value in what you do. So, you know, that was also a very big life lesson. You know, as then I decided to get divorced and re-enter the workforce in a different way, and really concentrate more on me and being taken seriously as someone re-entering the workforce with different types of careers or jobs, I should say, that led me to where I should be now. And that's worth it all.
Good for you. Good for you. It's a journey, right? It's in
Mhm.
the journey that we all live. But you know, we will get there.
Right.
And speaking of the journey, like I know we have a ways away, but looking into the future, you know, how do you see your retirement vision?
Well, I think as my new friend, Regina, I think we've had this discussion. I think I'm going to be working a very long time um, just because of, you know, I mean, I think your practice, you deal with a lot of divorced women. And
Yes.
if they don't have the support from, you know, people like you that are really knowledgeable on making the best choices financially, sometimes you know, those outlooks of finances are a little bit less attainable.
Right.
But for me, I my idea of retirement would be the opportunity to kind of, because I kind of did retire for those couple years being a stay-at-home mom. I shouldn't say that because it's still very hard work.
You worked her butt off.
But I really would love the opportunity to retire and be able to support the community more in the nonprofit sense, and to be able to volunteer more. You know, and that might include travel. I did a lot of travel when I worked for Kellogg's. I do like to see places and have other people pay for it. Um, but um, but I would like to be able to have that opportunity to, I mean, that's the one thing that COVID, I think, did teach us, that, you know, to look at just sitting in your backyard and looking at, you know, the birds, or growing, you know, the sunset or the sunrise. Well, I don't see myself like retiring to Belize or something like that, unless I win the lottery and I have to hide all my taxes or something. I don't know. But I really want to continue to be able to give back in my retirement, but just not on a, you know, planned schedule.
Right, right, right. Well, it's great. Everyone has their different visions. So I love hearing what your vision is. That's pretty cool.
Thank you. Yeah, it's fun.
So if someone wants to learn more about the programs that you offer and about the chamber, how would they find you?
Sure. Right now, we have a website. It's www.ercc.net. We will be changing that at the end of January. It'll be a lot easier to remember, extonchamber.com. But right now, that's where you would find us. We're also on Facebook at Exton Chamber, and Instagram at Exton Region Chamber. I have a lot of volunteers that create names, obviously. And also you can just find me at the mall. I'm on the second floor next to Black House White Market. So
I know
come
that
shop and
store
say
very
hello.
well.
Yeah. I think I recognize that blouse, actually.
It is actually from there.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of my dollars in that store.
I know. It's a good location. So yeah, so thank you. I really appreciate you inviting me on today, Regina.
Oh, this was great. I mean, and the work you're doing with the chamber and with the community, hard earned respect.
Thank you.
You know, I know you guys give your hearts and your souls into the community. So thank you for what you were doing. I appreciate it.
Wonderful.
I think the series that you're doing with the women's leadership thing sounds very, very interesting. So I hope a lot of people look into that and join you on that.
I do too. Even if you can't do it the first time, you know, you can sign on for each one, and then hopefully in June we'll have a live meeting
Yeah,
with everybody. So it should be good.
that would be lovely. Human contact, yes. Oh, can't wait.
I know.
Well, thank you for joining me, and
Thank you.
thank everyone else for joining us remotely, of course. I'm Regina McCann-Hess, president of Forge Wealth Management, and you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Forge Wealth. On LinkedIn, it's Regina McCann-Hess. And of course, our website is forgewealth.com. Thanks and have a wonderful day.